comes down to basketball, when it comes down to actual talent and not taking dirty jabs, not punching someone in the throat, not kneeing someone in the groin, not flagrant fouling someone from behind while their back is turned to you, right? Not taunting somebody for a long time with your finger, right? Not walking into Indiana saying, walk in your trap, take over your trap, right? Not all these things, not trying to fight Caitlyn on the court. Those won't win basketball games. You know what will win basketball games? What this woman right here, Elizabeth Clark, does on a nightly basis. The face oh my, the face of Marina Mabrey right here on your screen. Let this be a microcosm for the next 10 years against every opponent who tried to hard foul and do CC nasty. I mean, Angel Reese.
Look at this, man. Watch this. Marina always trying to score something with somebody, bro. This is crazy. Look. And it's Kelsey Mitchell. Come on. And look, Marina knows she was wrong. Because, you know Mabrey was wrong because we've never seen Kelsey Mitchell do anything like that.
Forget the woman selling out arenas, smashing ratings records, and dragging this entire league into a level of relevance it has never experienced before in its history. Forget the sold-out arenas from coast to coast, the record-breaking jersey sales, and the private planes chartered just to move fans and media crews from city to city on a random Tuesday night. Apparently, according to one single moment caught on camera, there is a much better representation of what this league is supposed to look like moving forward. But could one facial expression really say more about the growing tension around Caitlyn Clark than all the record-breaking numbers? That is the picture everyone has been passing around since last night. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Marina Mabrey was standing off to the side near the tunnel, watching Caitlyn Clark sign autographs for a wall of fans who stayed around long after the final buzzer, and the look on her face was not subtle in the slightest. It was not a neutral glance. It was not someone simply minding their own business while walking past. It was a full, unmistakable side-eye, the exact kind of look you might give someone when you genuinely cannot stand the fact that they are receiving attention you feel you deserve instead. And the internet, being the internet, caught it within seconds and has not let it go since.
I guarantee you some part of this is real. Why? Because this is some Canadian singer I don't know. This is her, what I think was her partner. This is a woman who was about who in heels about 6'5". Why do I know that? Because I was sitting here. I was right here. This is the Canadian singer. I don't know who it is. She was on Celebrity Cam. This is said Canadian singer and a partner. This is my footage. This is my footage. So Marina is clearly trying to talk to Caitlyn after the game. Caitlyn does not want anything to do with Marina Mabrey. And just
here's the honest question nobody wants to actually sit with for a second. Who is lining up for a Marina Mabrey signature? Nobody is skipping dinner, sitting in traffic for an extra hour, or waiting 90 extra minutes after a game just to get a scribble from Marina Mabrey on a ticket stub or a jersey. That is not meant as an insult toward her as a basketball player. It is simply the reality of where these two players currently sit in terms of cultural pull, ticket sales, and pure star power. One of them moves markets every single time she steps onto a court. The other does not and has not for a very long time, and it seems like that widening gap, the one that has only grown larger as this season has gone on, finally caught up with her in a way she genuinely could not hide from the cameras this time.
Look at that. Threes, please. Threes, please. Okay, MHA, what you gonna do with it? You know you don't want to give it back. Oh, look at that. KK.
This was not just any random regular season night on the schedule. This was Mabrey's own team, on her own home floor, in front of her own fans who paid to watch her play, and the Indiana Fever walked directly into that building and took the win anyway. Caitlyn Clark and her teammates did not just show up and compete. They left with the result, in the exact building where Mabrey is supposed to be the one setting the tone and controlling the atmosphere. That is not a small thing to swallow as a competitor.
Not gonna lie, what we're seeing from CC is freaking ridiculous. She is hooping on another planet right now. Oh my God. Last night, she put the work. She put belt to ass on my Toronto team, on the Toronto Tempo. It was also Caitlyn Clark's Canadian debut, her first game in the city of Toronto, and she did not disappoint. She left the entire country of Canada excited. 24 points, 4 3-pointers, and 7 assists. And just honestly, just cooking. Like, some of the buckets I've seen, ridiculous. Like, she's the most exciting player to watch in the league. I can't.
Losing at home is always tough for a roster, no matter who you are or how long you have been in the league. But losing at home, while the opposing team's biggest star spends the entire post-game period signing autographs for a line of fans who specifically traveled to see her play, that is the kind of night that stays with a competitive person long after the box score has been filed away and forgotten by everyone else. So when people online say she was salty, this is exactly what they mean by it.
100% like aware. I know when I went too far with things, like, and it's like shameful. It's like, really, Marina, like, that was ridiculous. So like, for example, the Caitlyn thing, like when the play was over and everyone was like, that was obvious that my emotions of us losing and losing and losing, and then she's like low-key punking our team on top of it, like, that was too far. Like, that was too much. But then when you go to like Unrivaled this season, and like the little scuffle between me and Suge, like, that was perfect, because it was just enough that it like fueled me and the team. But then on the flip side, like when we were in Indiana and it was, everyone's booing us, like, it feels like shit. We end up losing by like 25, and it's like, Marina, that's your fault, buddy. Like, you can't do that.
It was not just one stray look caught from a bad angle. It was the accumulated frustration of watching her own home crowd, in her own building, treat the visiting team's point guard like she was the main event of the entire evening. That kind of moment stays with people, whether they admit it publicly or not. Nobody enjoys watching a rival get more attention in their own house than they receive on their best night. But most seasoned professionals manage to keep that frustration off their face. Mabrey did not manage that this time.
This is crazy. I have never seen Kelsey Mitchell react like this. I honestly don't think I've ever seen Kelsey Mitchell get this mad. Get so mad to get up in somebody's face. What happened? What did Marina Mabrey do to evoke this out of Kelsey Mitchell? Also, you guys, look at Marina Mabrey's reaction. She doesn't even do anything. Kelsey gets in her face, she's yelling at her, and Marina Mabrey just looks at her and walks away. Like, this is even crazy for Marina. She has crowned herself the crash out queen. She didn't even say anything. She wanted no smoke. I need to know what happened though. Like, was anybody at this game? Was anybody sitting courtside? Does anybody have a different angle of what went down? Like, what caused this? I have so many questions. You have like one of the calmest players in the league going off on one of the biggest crash outs in the league, and the crash out does nothing, and the calm player is going off.
And that was not even the only flashpoint from that particular night, which makes the whole situation feel even more telling. Because before the post-game tension even started, there was a moment on the court itself where Mabrey got right up in Kelsey Mitchell's face, jawing at her nonstop and gesturing wildly like Mitchell had somehow committed an unforgivable basketball crime. Mitchell was not taunting her. She was not doing anything remotely outside the normal flow of a competitive basketball game. But Mabrey was locked in on her for that entire exchange, practically nose-to-nose. Could the heated confrontation with Mitchell during live game action, followed by the very visible side-eye toward Clark after the final buzzer, reveal that Mabrey was more rattled than she wanted anyone to see? That is not some random coincidence you can easily explain away. That is a player who appeared frustrated from the opening tip all the way through the final horn. And instead of channeling that frustration into her own performance on the floor, she spent the night directing it outward at the people around her.
Somebody on the floor, that is an ejection. If you do that, if you do that in the NBA, you're gone, bro. Like, what are we talking about? This is common sense. This is the most bottom of the barrel of a professional league I've watched, bro. Like, what is this? And she's sitting there laughing like it, bro. Oh my God, man.
She's always in the mix.
WNBA, y'all never fail to outdo yourselves. You guys never fail to outdo yourselves. It's crazy.
There's a scrape across the face. That's what Clark didn't like.
Boom. Look, she could have got whiplash. She could have got whiplash, all types of stuff.
For anyone who thinks this incident came completely out of nowhere, it genuinely did not. And the history backs that up. This is the same Marina Mabrey who was caught shoving Caitlin Clark earlier in her career, a moment that received plenty of attention at the time because of how unnecessary and unprovoked it looked once people slowed down the replay. Clark was not doing anything remotely provocative in that earlier clip either. That earlier moment has started to look like part of a recurring pattern when you line it up chronologically with everything that has happened since between these two. There has been a low, steady tension between them for a while now, and if you study it closely, it has never really been about basketball fundamentals or defensive schemes. It has consistently been about attention, about who the cameras find first walking off the court, and about who the fans actually line up for after the final buzzer sounds and the arena starts clearing out.
Marina Mabrey gets honest about Caitlin Clark's shove. 2 days after the shove heard around, I'm pretty sure that means around the women's basketball world, Mabrey was heard saying, D word if I do, D word if I don't. While on Instagram Live. Need to stay off them Instagram Lives. Then she goes on to say, I don't care honestly, I really don't. Obviously, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to go after a certain player for certain. Yeah, okay. You're not trying to go after a certain player. You're not trying to hurt nobody. But you bulldozed somebody that was blindsided and eventually got hurt. We can literally say that her injuries started from this.
So watching Mabrey's frustration boil over in real time this season, watching her own team continue to struggle while Clark's team keeps steadily climbing the standings, and seeing her visibly outmatched on her own home floor in front of her own fans, there is a certain undeniable poetry to how this has all played out. Not because anyone genuinely wants to see a fellow professional fail or struggle in her career, but because there is something almost karmic about watching someone who once spent real energy trying to get under a rising star now visibly struggling in front of everyone to process that same star's continued rise to the top of this sport.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Here's what is genuinely strange about all of this if you step back far enough to look at the bigger picture objectively. Why do player after player around this league keep reacting negatively to Caitlin Clark instead of simply appreciating what she is doing for the sport as a whole? Every single night she plays, ticket prices spike noticeably. Every city she visits on a road trip, hotels fill up faster, local restaurants report bigger revenue nights, and television ratings jump in ways this league has genuinely never experienced before in its entire history. She is, by a very wide margin, the single biggest driver of attention that women's basketball has ever had at any point.
These WNBA women are 100% jealous of Caitlin Clark. You cannot sit here and look me straight in the eye and tell me that this girl, Caitlin Clark, who put your sport on the map, who pays your bills, who is your meal ticket, is the 11th best guard in the WNBA. You can't sit here and look at me in the eyes with a straight face and say she's the 11th best guard. This doesn't have anything to do with skill. This doesn't have anything to do with how she plays on the court. This has to do with they can't stand how much of an impact she has had on the WNBA. They can't stand that she has put their sport on the map and that she made their sport relevant. Yes, there's been plenty of other legends before her, but they never ever had the impact like she has.
It's really cool that people are waiting 2.5 hours before. Like, I don't know if I would ever do that, but I really appreciate their support. Like, that's a really cool thing, and it just shows how much this one opportunity means to people to be able to see a player that they probably watched on TV a lot and experience a moment that they've, felt through the TV screen or, seen online, and I think that's a really cool thing. So I'm just super excited that I